Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the March 30th, 2016 edition of the Midweek Update here on Rasslin with Redbeard. As you can see, I'm not in our normal studio, and I don't have our normal backdrop. What I do have, though, beer. Number 5 story of the week is that Levi Valenzuela is about to make his NXT debut. You may be asking yourself, who is Levi Valenzuela? Well, if you pay attention to the Mid-Atlantic region as far as independent wrestling is concerned, you would know that this is a man who is better known as Manny Garcia to a lot of us. He was a mainstay up at CWF Mid-Atlantic in Burlington, North Carolina for a long period of time, and he was very well known while he was there for his athleticism and also for the promos that he was able to cut. Very charismatic young man, very definitely in the mold of what WWE is very much seeking these days, that being someone who is a combination of an athletic talent and also someone who has the personality to get over with whatever particular character they may try and pursue. But there were some promos that have begun airing for Manny. I wouldn't call him that because of the fact it's a little bit easier to pronounce than Levi in my opinion. But at any rate, it's going to be interesting to see where they go with that character. If it's something very similar to what he was doing previously, which is just a natural extension of his own personality. Those are always the best gimmicks. Or what exactly they have in mind for him. But regardless, it's fantastic to see him getting an opportunity. He's clearly impressed the folks down there, as most of us knew he would in very short order. Of course, he joins a couple of other Mid-Atlantic he joins a couple of other Mid-Atlantic talents as a individual who is from this part of the world, and that of course includes Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, the Revival, who are the current NXT Tag Team Champions. So here again, a lot to look forward to if you're a fan of Mid-Atlantic wrestling, and further proof that the Mid-Atlantic region is one of the hottest in the world in terms of producing talent that are sought after by bigger companies like WWE. Number 4 story of the week is the surprisingly sour reaction that the New Day has received, given that they're going to be the ones to induct the fabulous Freebirds into the WWE Hall of Fame. This was a story that popped up and kind of caught a lot of people off guard because it was an unexpected decision to have the New Day, a current act on WWE TV, very popular one albeit that, to be the ones to induct the Freebirds. Of course, you had some other overtones to a story like this because of the fact that you have Freebirds being a group that was very popular in the southern United States back in the 80s and whatnot, being inducted into the Hall of Fame by a group of 3 black men. Yeah, it is what it is, folks. People are going to say what they want to say. But it was interesting from my perspective due to the fact that you had an opportunity to have an individual like Kevin Von Erich come in and induct the Freebirds into the Hall of Fame. Von Erich, if you are not aware, is the lone surviving member of the Von Erich family. And the Von Erichs very famously feuded with the Freebirds back in the old days of world-class championship wrestling. Did some brilliant stuff back in those days, which I think is available on WWE Network. If you've never seen it, definitely go check it out. It's worth seeing. It's still a very odd decision in terms of who to have bring the Freebirds into the WWE Hall of Fame. I think it'll still be an entertaining induction. It'll be somewhat weird, but this is WWE we're talking about here. They don't necessarily make the best decisions when it comes to the induction ceremonies, and of course they don't always get treated with the levity that they probably should, so it is what it is. Number 3 story of the week is that Joan London has been selected to receive the Warrior Award for 2016. This is a story that has been very well accepted and appreciated by a lot of people, but then of course you've also had some detractors come along as well for some very, I'll say, rather offensive reasons. The people who have said that she is not a worthy recipient of this award, I'll go ahead and mention them first, have said that this is outside the realm of what the Warrior Award was originally intended to appreciate, put it that way. The Warrior Award, as you may know, was brought about after the Ultimate Warrior's death as a way of celebrating people like Conor the Crusher and others who've had an impact on society through their attitude, through their perseverance, and just through their willingness to let the best parts of life shine through whatever difficulty they may have been facing. Joan London, as you may know, is a cancer survivor. She has battled breast cancer for a number of years here and seemingly overcome it. She's not necessarily been that involved, I would say, with a whole lot of tremendous other very visible efforts, at least not that wrestling fans really pay attention to. So people in the wrestling media and in the wrestling world probably don't see her as being someone who is as, shall we say, worthy of receiving the award as someone else could have been from the scene as far as wrestling is concerned. Be that as it may, I think London is a very valid recipient of this award. I do not think this is outside the realm of what it was originally intended to appreciate and intended to celebrate. I think this is just further evidence that no matter what comes along these days, someone somewhere is going to have a problem with it. And unfortunately, it even applies to things like this, where you're having someone who is using their celebrity to bring about hope and to bring about positivity. So that's definitely in line with what I think Warrior would have wanted as far as the award that's been presented in his name is concerned. Number 3 story of the week is that Daniel Bryan has been pulled from WrestleMania week events. This is a story that caught a lot of people by surprise, I'll go ahead and say, and also got a lot of attention because it led to a lot of various speculations in regard to what it could mean, and probably it actually doesn't mean much of anything. The story goes that Bryan was pulled from a lot of the events leading up to WrestleMania week. He was set to make appearances at a number of various events. He was also going to be participating in some access panels and other things that were going on around Mania weekend. He's been pulled from all of them, and the story goes, at least the rumors anyway, are that he asked for time off and it was given to him. That probably should have been where the story ended, because let's remember this man has admitted to suffering from various forms of post-traumatic stress in regard to the concussions that he's suffered and CTE-like symptoms, seizures among them. So if he wants to have some time off, I'd say that he's a little bit valid in asking for those things. But of course people want to make news out of this item like they do everything else in this business. So this has led to speculation by some to say, well, could he be prepping for some type of comeback? Could he be in some way, shape, or form involved with WrestleMania 32 in a wrestling capacity? That is about as likely, I think, as me turning into a unicorn in the next 3 seconds. Well, that technically was 4. Pinky showed up there by mistake, but yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Bryan's career is over. I think his best years are definitely behind him, and that's unfortunate because he was a phenomenal competitor, great performer, definitely a one-of-a-kind athlete in terms of what he was able to bring to the ring. But I think this is a story that's got some traction, and like a lot of what we've discussed here this week, it's been for the wrong reasons. We'll have to continue to pay attention, though, to what's happening with Bryan. Definitely hope that his health is holding up, and this is not something that is a possible extension of maybe some other issues that he might be having. So we'll have to wait and see where it goes, but definitely hope for the best for good old Daniel Bryan there. And the number 1 story of the week is that artwork has allegedly been created depicting a WWE brand split. This is a story that has gotten a lot of traction, a lot of legs here the past couple of days because of the fact that people are trying to figure out what could be next after WrestleMania 32. We're going to be doing a preview show here in the next day or two in regard to WrestleMania 32. That's the reason why we didn't include our thoughts in this midweek update. But of course, as part of WrestleMania 32's card is the big match, the Hell in a Cell match between Shane McMahon and The Undertaker, with the control of Monday Night Raw being balanced. The idea of a brand extension, if I can say things properly, has been thrown around pretty much since that match and that stipulation became a part of the card. It would make sense if it actually does wind up that Shane wins, because the fact that you would have almost this jumping off point to where you could say, okay, this is going to be our part of the roster, this is your part of the roster. And it would also kind of extend the idea that WWE exists as these 3 separate entities, that being Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. It's good in a lot of different ways, in my opinion, because of the fact that it opens up a lot of possibilities for saying, okay, well, we have Raw merchandise, we have SmackDown merchandise, we have NXT over here, which is doing great things as well. Of course, the brand extension is not exactly a new thing. It's been done before, and it failed once before. It did not really catch on because, much like what you were seeing today, there was a failure to really get enough big name talent to support multiple brands. You had SmackDown specific pay-per-views, Raw specific pay-per-views, and people were just not invested enough in it to make it valuable and to make it sustainable. So we'll have to see if this is something that actually happens moving forward here. I think the time will be right for it to happen because there's definitely enough talent out there right now. Once everybody gets healthy again, that is, there'll be enough talent to sustain, I think, enough of those shows, plus NXT. NXT is going to be a revolving door, but the fact of the matter is that you've got a near limitless seeming possibilities, or near limitless seeming possibilities with what NXT can become. So I'm not worried about that brand at all, no matter what may happen. Something I'm also not worried about is the longevity of our local scene, despite what it may look like this particular weekend. From what we can tell, there are only 3 shows happening around the Mid-Atlantic. Could be wrong, there could be more, but it definitely looks as though this is an off weekend. We normally talk about anywhere from 10 to 15. This weekend here looks as though everybody who's anybody in this part of the world is headed out west to Dallas to take part in some type of event that's going to be happening around WrestleMania. And that's a good thing, because if they're heading out there, that means there's money to be made, and definitely a sign of appreciation and respect if those guys are getting opportunities out in that part of the world. Regardless, let's go ahead and roll the posters for the shows that we are aware of this coming weekend. We'll get you caught up on those, and then we'll be back in a moment to finish up the show. Alright, there you have it, our coverage of the events that are going to be happening in this part of the world this coming weekend. If you're a promoter, a wrestler, or in some way involved with a wrestling promotion, and you didn't see your poster in that part of the show, it's because we didn't know about it. If you would do us a favor and shoot us a line, either here on YouTube, on the Facebook page, or on Twitter, we'd be glad to get your poster out there and share your information with everybody that's paying attention to what we do here on Rasslin with Redbeard, a big part of which is to promote the local talent and events that are happening in this part of the world. Appreciate you guys tuning in to the midweek update this week. As I mentioned earlier, we'll be doing a WrestleMania 32 preview show here, and that should be out later this week. We did shoot another edition of the Rasslin Redbeard main show here within the past 7 days that was recorded around AML Wrestling's Never Enough event this past weekend up in Yadkinville, North Carolina. I'm not sure when that's going to be out. It's going to take a little bit of editing to get that together, but at any rate, we are looking forward to having a few other elements of content out there for you in the coming days. And definitely, like we mentioned, appreciate you guys tuning in and hanging around with us. If you like your videos, or excuse me, if you like the videos that we post, go ahead and click those like buttons. And if you really enjoy what you see here on the channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button. That way you'll be among the first to know when we've uploaded something new, like a midweek update program, a match video, or whatever in between. Appreciate you guys tuning in once again. We'll see you down the road.